It's always better to see it for yourself. It's always better to see it for yourself. When I was telling people that I was coming to China or Vietnam, more specifically China, they thought that it would be very, very unsafe. Safer, more accepted,
Yeah.
As a whole. A woman bring a gun to a church with a little child next to her.
It tell lies about China terrorized minor.
So Jordan.
Hello, hello.
What's up, mate? You just got your. What do you got there anyway?
I got a couple packages. You know, it's the Halloween season, so I had to get an extra, you know, clothes, some extra clothing.
There you go, man. Well, you live in a very nice place, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, it's nice, tall, modern area, very contemporary.
Right.
We have our high rises here. My building aren't necessarily as tall as these, but it's a nice, comfortable, clean area. You can see, you know, animals, children, young people, old people.
Quality.
We're the foreigners. It's a good mix of people.
That's good though. That's
we have
good.
our package supply. You can even see, I guess we can call it a hair shop, a barber shop there.
So have you been there then?
Oh no, I do my own.
You do it yourself?
Oh man, I give myself a fade, man.
What?
Oh.
You know what? I can recommend a barber though. He's actually very, very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, he can cut black. He's the only one that can cut black here. Yeah, in Tianjin, honestly. Like, yeah, man. So you leave here, you move here.
Yeah.
And so tell me a bit about your background though. You know.
So I'm from America, the USA. I was born in New Jersey, but I was also raised in North Carolina. So I'm an East Coast American guy. Family-wise, I'm of mixed origin, so a little bit of black, a little bit of European, a little bit native. But as you can see, I enjoy being here in China. This is not my first time in Asia, because I have went through and lived in other areas. I just spent a year living in Vietnam, teaching, working, living. It was a overall okay experience. Okay. Just okay.
Right, that's good though. You know, like the last video I interview and you know Johnny, right? So Johnny is also another black brother that just moved to China. It seems like there are a lot of black brothers moving here. So what's the cause? What's the main? You have to be honest. Be completely honest. Why black brother like us, like from the West, we are moving here now? At
least from my perspective, you know, the biggest incentive is the cost of living and the opportunity. And saying that kind of sounds strange even when I say that to other Asians or locals, because that's why they go to America, that's why they go to London, to get better or more balanced cost of living and a better opportunity. Right. But no, I like being here. I mean, even you can see I got my package from around the corner. Right in front of us are the motorbike charging. Even in the middle there, that's where you can buy some groceries. It's an outdoor grocery. Wow, awesome. You know, on the right over there is a library. On the left over here is a pharmacy. And we're looking at a very, very modern area. You can even see the top of the Four Seasons Hotel right there. That's fantastic. But we're gonna head back. Okay. Head back to my area.
All right, let's go. He's very, very keen to like to show us around. But anyways, the thing is that I just want to ask you, since you moved here to China, what's your transition been like? You know,
to China, it's been okay in terms of work, in terms of life. I'm liking the food a lot here. The people, for the most part, are really friendly. I did have some issues with housing, but you know, I have allergies, so that's a little bit of a different story. Right. But holistically, as a whole, everything is good. Everything's cool. I like being here. I like feeling safe. Okay. I like the good prices in the food, you know, whether it's a local dish in terms of the Taiwanese food, the Islam food, the Chinese food. A lot of them will only be $1 to $4, which is almost the same as 1 to 4 pounds, depending on what you like to eat. And even, I guess if we're looking at the fast food scale and measurement, a McDonald's meal is only like $4 for a medium Big Mac meal. This is about 3 pounds.
Okay, that's very inexpensive here, isn't it?
We are outside, so I can be outside.
I tried to live without you, just can't get you off my mind.
Anyways, back onto the topic again. In terms of like being a black guy here in China, you know, like what's the first experience? You know, like in Asia, if you have like complexion, right? Of course, we both have different complexion.
Well,
people treat you differently, right?
It's a mix of good and bad. You know, some people like it, some people don't. You will get stares. You will get stares, but you know, I'd say try not to take offense to it, because in some of these countries, some of these cities, even China, they have never seen a person of color. Granted, they've seen an Asian person of color, which is a little bit different. Like there are Asian people who are way darker than me, way darker, easily 3, 4, 5 shades darker than me, 8, you know, but they're Asian and they know where they're from, what region they're from, they know what ethnicity they are, because there are multiple ethnicities here in China. But you know, you'll have some stares every now and then. You'll have people ask you funny questions.
But you don't feel like they're targeting you at all, isn't it?
Not necessarily. Most of it is out of curiosity. You know, my strangest experience in Asia in terms of this was actually in Vietnam. You know, I was walking, I was exploring the local Catholic cathedral next to my building. It's a nice little cathedral that people would go there after work. They would go walk around, get their exercise, you'd look at the statues, just enjoy your family, enjoy the children. But one man, he walks up to me and stands right here in my face.
Wow.
And he just stares at me for like 3 minutes.
That is weird.
And I'm leaning back, and
that's weird, man.
He's just staring at me.
That's weird.
You know, I felt like an animal in the zoo. I was like, what's going on here?
My God, no, that's too sexual, mate.
It was a little bit.
It was just too close.
He was in the kissing range, and I'm like, this is not. They will touch your muscles. Like I've had a few people touch my arm, my shoulder, or I work in a training center. I work teaching English, so some of my children they will like touch my hair. They'll touch, you know, my face. Yeah,
they're very touchy.
They will be touchy.
Very touchy.
They will be touchy.
But like seriously, like if you tell them though, they're not going to cause any force, isn't it? Like if you say, oh, move away, they'll walk away easily. But definitely I'll say, like for me, my experience here in China as a black person, like for me, I don't really like focus on my race, you know what I mean? Like if someone's, they say a foreigner, Lao, black guy, it doesn't really offend me at all, you understand? I really like the fact that when I'm here, and people are very open, very positive, you know what I mean? They want to talk to you, they acknowledge you, and at the same time, you know, there's a respect there. I agree. So I would definitely say here, I feel a lot more safer than I did back in the UK.
Safer, more accepted. As a whole, yes. As a whole, yes.
I feel that as well.
You know, my family, my friends, even old co-workers, they always ask me, especially when I send them pictures at nighttime, because you know I'm the guy in Asia where if I see a dark area, I'll go to the dark area. If I see a square here and no one's in the square, I will go to the square all by myself. And people are like, aren't you scared? What if someone has a knife? What if someone has a gun? Or it's 1 a.m. Why are you riding your bike to the river? What if something happens to you? I've had no bad experiences in terms of going out late, in terms of being alone. And granted, I'm a guy, but I would also say mostly, as a whole, this also would apply to females and women.
Right.
You know, it's a very safe place.
Right, that's true. That's true. Like I know in the state, I'm pretty sure you never used to carry anything to defend yourself, right? And but in the state, it's so common. I used to live in the state as well, like in Missouri. It was so legal. Like everyone, if you're above that age, 16, you can have a weapon.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, bloody hell, that's crazy.
Yeah. Before I left, it was like because I've been bouncing back and forth, and I was trying to transition into Thailand initially.
Yeah.
And I spent like about a month and a half, almost 2 months in Thailand.
Yeah.
And when I went back to America, North Carolina, visit my family and everything, I had what we would call reverse culture shock.
Right.
And the reverse was that I was reading news, I was seeing weapons. I saw a woman bring a gun to a church with a little child next to her.
Wow.
The girl was maybe 6 years old, and this woman had a weapon on her. You know, I was seeing signs that said, "Do not bring guns to the doctor's office."
Wow.
I was seeing signs that were saying, "Do not bring weapons into the mall." So we in the city would have to remind people not to do these things, because many accidents happen, many fights and altercations. But luckily, I never had to carry anything. I preferred not to, and I was mostly safe.
Oh, that's good though. That's good. Like here, police don't carry no weapons.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
so in my city, the police will have like heavy body armor, almost like military. They have heavy body armor. Right. They'll have at least one weapon on their side. And if something goes even more crazy, they'll have weapons in the trunk, in their vehicle, 2, 3, like big weapons right there by their side.
Wow. Do you feel like that is a lot more safer, having a weapon? You seen someone have a weapon to protect the community? Or what's your
I don't know. It's very, for me, it's very conflicting. Like, I understand the needs for weapons. I do understand the need for weapons. But at the same time, a community should be safe enough to where you shouldn't need them.
Sure.
Whether this is enforced locally or, you know, the regional government, the national, however you want to police it, like it should be safe enough to where you should be okay. Like even to Mexico. In Mexico, when I was in Mexico, my time there for roughly about a month, I like to do like what we call like long stays. It's still a short time, but it's not like a weekend or a week. So when I was in Mexico, the police were very, very militant, very militant. You know, I was going towards the park and going towards the tourist area, and I saw maybe 50 police or more lined up in rows with their shields, with their weapons. Wow. I saw police guarding the parking garages so that people wouldn't try to steal the Porsches, the Lamborghinis, the Corvettes. And I don't know, here in China, I haven't seen any of that. I didn't see that in Vietnam. I didn't see that in Thailand. I didn't see that in Malaysia or Japan. You know, maybe this is an Asian thing, but I think these are the types of things that we should bring to our cultures.
That's totally. Like the things, like when you go to a lot of the shops there, right? Basically, luxury.
Water delivery. So everything is really accessible.
Accessible. That's it. Yeah. And like the things, like when you go to a lot of the luxury department stores, right? Basically, there's no security guard. No, there's not even what is it? No. A police presence around. Of course, they have their own station far out. Yeah. Even
right here, you know, we're in a nice area, and we walked past a few jewelry shops.
Right.
With nice jewelry in the shops. Where there's a shop around the corner with very, very nice suits. They're very luxury area, you know, and there's no security guards here at all.
So, like, that's a good question as well. Like, because for us, right?
There's cameras. There are cameras.
There are cameras.
There are cameras everywhere. Hiding.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's true. Yeah, like being a black person like us, right? Well, you know, like in certain countries in the West, right? If you enter a luxury store, people are gonna follow you. They're gonna make sure like you don't steal.
I've been followed.
Yeah.
Not out here, but yeah, back in the States. No, I went through and experienced all of that. All of it.
It's not nice.
Not nice.
That is not nice feeling, man. I hate that.
Walk into a store and you feel like you're treated like a criminal or something, and it's not good.
I really hate that, man. Anyways, now let's just wrap this first episode, right? Yeah. So the question is like, what was your perception of China coming in? I know you used to live in Vietnam, and then now you moved here. So what was Vietnam like compared to China now?
So I didn't know much about Vietnam either. You know, in America we know Vietnam for the war. You know, we call it the Vietnam War. They just call it either the war or the American War. But I didn't know much about many of these Asian countries intimately. I knew this very basic stuff. Vietnam. I did know about some of the food, but one of the reasons why I'm here now is the weather. The weather was getting to me. The weather was getting to me. I always tell everyone about this because this is a hard thing to describe or even just say. But the weather in Vietnam, I'll talk in Celsius and Fahrenheit. So the weather in terms of Celsius was between 32 Celsius to 42 Celsius every day of the year. Every day. Every day.
That's hot.
Yeah, people would say there's only 2 seasons in Vietnam, hot and hotter. That is it. And then you kind of have the rainy season scattered in there where it would flood. Some of the flood water would be, you know, 6 inches, 7 inches. Some of them will go up to your knee. Now, in terms of the pollution, I wasn't expecting the amounts of pollution in Ho Chi Minh City. Whether we're talking about the air quality, the air was very thick. Or people burning the trash on the sides of the road. And sometimes you would have to drive through this smoke or walk through it, and it would not be good. It would not be good. The littering problem is very bad. They're trying to teach the children.
I saw that in Da Nang, and also Ho Chi Minh City. They're burning the rubbish. Yeah, it's not nice.
Yeah, they're trying to like teach the children to do this, but it's kind of hard because you're teaching the children, but then their parents, their cousins, their family is still throwing the rubbish and burning it. So I will say, last thing about Vietnam, the pollution for me was so bad that like every single time that I would walk into my room, into my little apartment, little studio apartment, I would always take a shower. Every time. Every time. Even if that meant taking a shower 3 or 4 times per day.
Wow.
Because the smog, the exhaust would be on my skin.
Wow.
It would get on my clothes. And it was not good. Now, here in, that was the other thing, the noise pollution, I mean, not here, but in Vietnam was very, very loud as well. You know, in the beginning, I thought it was okay, but then it just escalated more and more and more and more, and then it was rarely quiet. I think they have a law now to where they have to be quiet after 10 p.m. because people would stay up all night drinking, partying, karaoke all night. Now here in China, let's talk about China real quick. I feel the pollution here in Tianjin, even though the north of China does have its problems.
Pollution, it does, yeah, sometimes, yeah.
I feel in the moment that I've been here a few months that it's been better than Vietnam. Okay, this has been better.
Fair, true.
You know,
I can agree. For me, the noise pollution. Oh,
yeah, it was so quiet.
Oh, it's so quiet. When I come back from Vietnam, coming back, I love Vietnam. Don't get me wrong, fantastic place. But as soon as I move back, I come back to China. Silence. Yeah. You know, it's not like dead silence, but silence.
Like it's not dead silence, but like that's how it feels. You know, everything is like loud. It's like almost imagine like New York City or London. Everyone's honking, talking loud, yelling. But then you come here and it's like even now.
That's it.
No, you hear the escalator. Yeah. You hear maybe an electric bike.
That's an electric bike. Yeah.
That's the loudest thing you're hearing. And that's quick. In and out.
So quick.
You know, but otherwise, unless you're maybe in a city square, it won't be that loud. But even we are close to a very nice city square, and it's very quiet.
It's not loud at all. You know, so that's it, man. So a quick one before we touch on to the next episode. Like,
I recommend.
Would you recommend people to come here,
explore? Yeah. People travel, whether it's short-term vacation, a weekend, a week, whether it's slow traveling. I'm a slow traveler, a month or more, 1 month, 3 months, a year or more. I recommend you do this because where we're from, things often get misinterpreted by our news, by our governments, by even certain people. It's always better to see it for yourself. It's always better to see it for yourself. When I was telling people that I was coming to China or Vietnam, more specifically China, they thought that it would be very, very unsafe. Why are you going to China? Isn't it dangerous? Why are you going to China? What about the government? What about this? What about that? You know, what about all these different things? What about like weapons? What about the cameras? All of this people worried about. But me being here, it feels okay. I feel safe. Actually, I like a lot of these cameras, you know. I wish that we had these in my city.
Right.
You know, I wish, because in my city we have lots of motor accidents, lots of one-on-one incidents, arguments. A lot of this stuff I think can be resolved. You know, so one thing people back home would talk about, aren't you afraid of the social score and the credit system in China? Right? I've been in China and I haven't even seen that. Granted, we do have our apps and everything, and okay, don't say bad things about your government, the government, but you shouldn't be saying this stuff anyway, without consequences.
But come on, you're a foreigner here,
and we must don't forget where you are.
Yeah, that's
we
it.
are still foreigners.
We're still foreigners. Like, we appreciate what China provides. You know, I mean, we love it. But of course, you know,
China gives us a place to live, opportunity to work. You know, many of the foreigners on different levels. Some of them have girlfriends, some of them have wives. You know, even outside of that, you know, I've been joining different communities. I've been doing archery. I've been doing dance in terms of salsa, bachata. There are all these different opportunities and communities that you can get involved in.
Absolutely.
Even filmography, even just traveling.
Yeah, you can just traveling around. People,
even if you don't leave China, there's hundreds
of countries out there. You can, in Asia, you can go and visit. Really, you don't really necessarily need to come to China. This video is to give you an idea. You have people that look exactly like you, and they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I can do it. You know what I mean?
So
it's not scary.
I guess the last thing I'll say, then I guess you can wrap it up, is that people always ask me, or they have a perception that I'm rich, that we're rich.
No.
It's not about money. It's not about money, because you can make money, you can save money. I recommend you always have savings,
Fact.
But it's about being brave. You have to be brave.
Take risks.
You have to take risks. You know, if you're always listening to how, you know, your friends feel, how your school feels, how your work feels, how how the news feels, if you're worried about all these different things, you will never experience life. You know, I have people who contact me, family and friends who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, who are saying, wow, you're in Vietnam. Wow, you're in Thailand. Wow, you're in Malaysia. I never heard of Malaysia. Wow, you're living in China. I always wished that I could travel overseas. And they're telling me this at 60, 70 years old.
Wow.
I'm in my 30s, you know, mid 30s. You have to take a risk. You don't want to be that old and then regret, or be that old and then you have the money, but your body says no.
裁判老师吹响了开始的哨声啊，上来选择一个远投 straight， 哇，非常棒啊！看一下杯里中距离啊，没有。